This is Irontrader, and this is the weekend edition. Today, we're going to take a look here at the indexes. First of all, we're going to take a look here at the Dow, the S&P, the Nasdaq, and then we're also going to take a look at the VIX that measures volatility. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell any stock, commodity, ETF. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, first of all, here we have the Dow. Okay, now, what I want to show you here is, Friday, we were rallying up here pretty good. And then what it is you just at the end of the day here, like in the afternoon, it pulled back. Now, the Dow and the S&P didn't do that bad, but the Nasdaq pulled back pretty hard. Okay, so let's just take a look here at the chart. Now, we had a good run all the way up here at this 32,000 level, all the way up here to this 39,282 level, which is very, very good positive run. What I don't like about this is when you look up here at this high and you have a high here, and then as you're making this run up here, you have a lower on your RSI, which is your strength. See that negative divergence? And you have the same thing on the MACD, okay? So that there you got to keep your eye on. Now when you look at the RSI on your weekly chart here, you're kind of like in a really basically overbought situation. And it looks like it just needs a nice correction. Your MACD here is still bullish, your green above your red, but it looks like it just wants a roll. So, we're due for a pretty good sized correction here. So basically what you want to do is just, basically scalp trade is what you want to do. Scalp trade here until we can get this settled out here. A nice pullback would be really, really good. So let's just look at some levels here. So we have a nice 8 SMA here. So you're sitting at 38,608.62. That's here right underneath there. It really needs to hold that on the closing basis because you can see how it came down, held it, and then holding it all the way. But again, that's like for the week. You need to hold it. That's going to be the very, very key here. Now, short term, what we want to do is we want to look to obviously the Friday's low here. You're looking at 38,705.03. And then we can just follow the candles down here. You have 38,570.80. And then we have 38,457. And then what we do is this gap here is filled up here very, very nicely. Then we can come here to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 38,338.58. And then this 50-day is going to be very, very key. That's 38,266.94, and then you have your price channel at 39.86 here. Now, again, I don't know if it's going to get here, but that was basically that candle right there. Okay, so again, next level here, we would just take this right on over to the lowest candle. So you're looking at 37.7 and 95.71, and then we can follow the candles down. 37,451, and then we can have your nice big retest here at 37,122.95. Now, I'm not saying that's where it's going to get there because you have nice support level here, and we have a really nice support level here on your 8 SMA here. But again, if that's lost, this is what the areas that we are looking for. But this just looks like it's really getting very, very top heavy. And I don't like that negative divergence here on your RSI and your MACD. Now, on the upside, you really have to get back above that 21-day. That's looking at 38,785.46. And then right above that is what we have is 38,847.86. Okay, so that is very, very crucial. You need to get above that 21-day and above that 8 SMA here, and then you can rock it higher. So we look at like Friday's high. You had a 38,971.15. So you put in a high, but you notice that it couldn't hold it, and it closed right below that key 8 SMA and the 21 SMA. See, that's basically what I was kind of talking about here, where that is just really not good. So when you look at this candle here, okay, it's almost like you have like a bear flag situation going up here. But again, if you can get back above the 21-day and back above that 8 SMA here, well, then that would negate that, and then we would go higher. So then you'd want to look at the top of Friday's candle, 38,971. And then we can just start following the rest of these candles right on up here, okay? So 38,956, and then we have on this candle 39,087 is your high, and then we just follow it right on up all the way there to 39,120. But realistically, you just want to watch that 21 SMA and that 50 SMA here, because this is just not looking really what you call too good. of a situation. Okay, so but that would be your upside, and then your downside. We follow these candles down, and realistically, if you get down to that 50-day or even that price channel, that would probably more like a buying opportunity than what we have going here, because you're just like straight up here is how this went here. And usually when you get situations like this, it never lasts, especially when you see this negative divergence going on here. That's the bad part. All right, next here we have is the S&P, and you can see it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, we put a low in, and you rallied all the way and up, and but look how nice you've held this 8 SMA, and even when that's lost, you've held this 21 SMA going all up very, very nicely. That's why you always want to use the 8 SMA, which is a simple moving average. All it is it's an average over 8-day period, the 21 over 21-day period. But look how nice here you have, bottom left, upper right, where all of these are just creeping right on up here. But you're getting to an area here now, and you have the same situation here where you say you have a high here, and then as that's going higher, you got to watch this is going lower. That's negative divergence here. Okay, so that's not looking very, very good. And you have the same as your RSI here. Looks like very, very overbought conditions. So we got to just, give this a little bit of time here. A nice correction would be good. But you can see how you put in this topping tail here on Friday at 51.89, and it came right down. Now, let's look at the downside first. You want to hold that 8 SMA. Okay, that's sitting at 51.12.32. That's going to be very key. And then right below it there, we have a 5,092.22, and then we could come right here to this 5,057.85. That's going to be very, very key, because look how many times that has held that level. Now, again, if that is lost here, what you have to look at is the bottom of this candle here. Okay, so you're looking at 5,038.83. There's your gap, and then when you look to the top of this candle, 49.83.21, there's your fill. So your gap and fill, which that creates your support levels if that 21 is lost. Then I say you want to look to that gap, you want to look to that fill level, and then we'll look to the bottom of the candle, which is basically 49.46. And then we can come over here to this bottom of this candle, which is 49.20.31, which is basically that price channel, and your 50-day lines up very, very nice at 49.24. So again, if this 8 SMA here is lost, then we'll look to that 21-day, and then look to that gap, okay, that 5,038, and then if that is lost, we look to the top of this candle at 4,083.21. There's your fill, and then we can just follow the candles until we hit this price channel and that nice 50 SMA. So that's your downside. Now, obviously, your upside here, you put in a new high, 51.89. You need to close back above that, and then you can go higher here. But for me, I'd just wait for a little bit of pullback in this S&P here, because when you start to get into these nosebleed territories, I say when you had this kind of a run like you had, and you have these negative divergence here, that's not a good look. Okay, so for me, I'd wait for a pullback. If it came down, it's down to the 8, but if it came down to that 21-day or even down here, then we could have a nice little bit of a correction, and then you could say, hey, I could buy that up here. But the market is looking just a little bit toppy kind of a situation. All right, let's look here at the old Nasdaq. Okay, now the Nasdaq is one of my favorite traders, but I like to show you the Dow and S&P just so you know what the markets are. But you got the same situation going here. We had the low, you ran all the way on up here, all the way to the top, but see we had the high again, and then you have a low. See that negative divergence going on? Okay, that's usually a first tell of what's happening here. So realistically, what we want to watch here on the downside is now it looks like you lost that 8 SMA here, okay? So that is sitting at 16,106. So your next in line is going to be that 21-day at 15,954. And then obviously if that's lost here, we can come to the bottom of this candle right here, which basically you're looking at 15,862. Okay, so when we look here at this candle, you're 15,869. So this here would be the lower candle. So this is going to be your gap. So you want to watch that 15,862, and then we want to watch the top of this candle here at 15,583.68. Okay, so this would be your gap. That's your lowest candle, and then we look to the top of this candle here. That is going to be your fill. So you have your gap, your fill, and then what we have right below it is you have your 50-day at 15,498, and then we have your price channel sitting there at 55.65. So always watch these gaps in this fill. It's not right there. This will be the lowest here, so you want to take that gap in this fill here. Always watch that. So you see you have another one all the way down here where you're looking at 1587 is the bottom of that candle. Then we look at 1566, which is the top of that candle. So you have another gap and fill, just like we have here. There's another gap all the way down here. Look at the lowest, 14,003. And then we looked at the top of that candle at 13,805. So another gap and fill here, all the way on, really on down. You could show them. But, I just like to show you where the gaps are. But I don't think it's going to go right there because you have a lot of good support here. So realistically, here on the downside, just watch that key 21 SMA. If that is lost, then look to the bottom of that candle at 15,862, and then look to the top of this candle at 15,583. So you have your gap, your fill after that 21-day, and then you have that 50 SMA here, and then we have your price channel. Now, here on the upside, you want to reclaim, okay, say it just keeps running up here. You want to reclaim that 16,106.47, okay? So again, if you can, then what we'll do is we'll come up to this 16,309.02, okay? So because that is your price channel, that's off the top of this candle, and then obviously you can go to Friday's high. But I don't like when you have that big red spike like that. That's really not a good look here. Now on the weekly chart here, you always want to watch that 8 SMA, looking at 814.81. Again, if that's lost, you can funnel all the way on down, and then always look to the left of the chart where the top of this candle is at 14,446. Okay, so because as this ran up here, okay, then it came down, then that's where it broke through. So now that becomes a nice support level here, okay? So, but let's take a look here. Since I like trading the Nasdaq, and one of my favorite trades is the TQQQ, so let's pull that up and take a look at that. Now, TQQ is one of my favorite trades, okay? Now, it pays a small dividend, really nothing to worry about, like 1% or something. But realistically, what I like about this is you have big volume. Okay, you always have big volume in this, and you have really good movement. And this has all the AI, all the good stuff in there, like your, Apple and Microsoft and NVDA, and then you even have Tesla in there and Costco in there, and Microsoft and and Google and Meta. So all the good stuff is basically in this ETF, and that's basically what everybody wants, wants. But we look at Friday's action. But first of all, let me point out this RSI. See, we have the same thing again. We had your high here, and then we have a real high, and then we have a low. See that negative divergence? Okay, you always want to keep your eye on that situation there, see? So that's not good. Now, see, this is the red candle. Now, you put in, the high was 63.51, okay? That was your high. But then look what happened on Friday, 64.13. Now, I scalp this every day, okay? So this is good, and a lot of times I'll do 1,000, 1,500 shares on this. Sometimes 2,000, all depends on where it is in the cycle kind of a situation. But what I like about this, again, is that movement and the big volume. You get in, easy out, and it has all the good stuff that people want. But when I look on Friday's candle, I was in and out of this here really, really pretty quick here, because what happened is you went 64.13, so it looked like you were going to break out. But when you put it on other charts, like your, like a tick chart or 1 or 5 or 15, you say, man, this is not going to hold it. When she came off, look how that came right off here. Now you lost that 8 SMA. So that's going to become resistance here now. And you're holding the 21-day at 59.41. So let's look at the downside first. So again, if that is lost, then what we want to do, we want to go to the bottom of this candle at 59.35, and then we want to go to the bottom of this candle here at 58.02. Now, again, that is going to be your gap, and then we can go all the way to the top of this candle at 55.42. There's your fill. Okay, so this was the lowest candle. It wasn't that. This was your lowest candle here at 58.02. There's your gap, and then right on here, 55.42. So a gap and fill, and we have that 50 SMA here sitting at 55.40, and then we have your price channel at 53.82. Now, again, I don't know if this is going to just going to pull back to here like it's been doing. Come on up, pull back, and run higher here, but we got to see. But on the upside, what you want to watch is that 60.86. Now, again, if you can get above that, then we can follow the candles back up here. So you have 61.43 here. You have 63.32. You have your nice big retest there at 63.51, and then Friday's high at 64.13. But I just don't like that big ass red candle, especially on a Friday, because if you have it on a Friday, usually it wants to continue there till Monday, and then you might get a turnaround Tuesday. But again, when you look at all these stocks like NVDA, I mean, that thing rolled over 100 points. You know what I'm saying? That rolled over 100 points there. And here, matter of fact, let's just pull that stock up here and we'll take a look at it. Now, NVIDIA has been a really good scalping trade, but what I didn't like about this here, look at this. This hit 974, and look where this thing closed. This thing closed at 875. So you're looking at about 100 points difference on this, okay? That's what we're looking at here. This was Friday's action. And then you look here on a weekly chart. Look at that topping tail that we put in. Okay, you look at this. This is just such an overbought condition. Now, this shows right here that you have a lot of strength. Okay, don't get me wrong. That show RSI looks a lot of strength. Same way with your MACD. No question about it. Okay, but you know, this was just completely out of control here, where you just, when you had the breakout, and this was nothing but FOMO. You know, people, oh, I'm going to miss out. And believe me, I scalp this thing every day. And you know what I'm saying? Every day until when you get a situation like this where you see a high, you see a topping tail candle, and then you have 4 days here of sideways action. It can't get through where that topping tail was. Just get out of it. Okay, that's what I do. But then you came down, but you held that 21 day. Then I got right back in here again. Okay, and then I just keep scalping it all the way up here. And I even scalped it Friday, but I just, you know, to me, this is just a scalp is basically a day trade. I just get in and out of that here, because when this rolls, look what happened Friday. Now, say you're at 974 and you say, I'm going to be buying more. It's going, you know, they got a target on this of 1200. Oh, look where it's going to go. And you're at 974. I got plenty of room to run. And then all of a sudden you lose 100 points just like that. That's not good. So what we want to watch here is watch this 8 SMA here on the downside. That's at 848.94. Okay. And then watch Friday's low. Okay. That's 865.06. And then that's a gap, and then we have a fill here of 860.97. Okay, so you have that 865.06, and then 860.97. There's your gap, there's your fill, then you have your 21 day. Now there's another one here. So you look at the bottom of this candle here, you're looking at 834.17. There's a gap, and then the top of this candle here is 823. Okay, so 834.17 and then 823. So you have a gap and a fill, another gap, another fill. It's just going to be chop city until we even come down here. Now, look at this gap. See, so you look at the low, 742.20, and then we'll look to the high here, 688.88. So another gap and fill. So when you look at this here, don't say, Irontrader, what the hell is he talking about? Always look at something like this when you run and you have that much run, okay, eventually it's going to give, just like it did on Friday. And that was a 100-point turnaround. So if you're stuck up there, phew, you're probably pretty pissed off right about now here, unless you bought it from all the way on down there. But to me, I just kept on scalping it and go with the FOMO all the way up here. But I just took my money every day, put it in the pocket. Okay, so you know, watch that gap in that fill, and then we have your 8 SMA here, 884.94. And then you want to watch your 779.31. That is your 21 SMA. Okay, let's take a look here at the VIX. Okay, here we have the VIX. Now you can see this is always one of my favorite patterns. Okay, so you have a low, then we have a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low. That's always very, very bullish. But you know, you still have a VIX here of 1474. That is very, very low. If we have any kind of a correction going on here, this is going to rocket up pretty quick. So what you want to do is watch the 1553 that was Friday's high. And then we could jump up to this candle here, which is basically 1612. And then you have a retest up there at 1794. So basically, you know, VIX is supposed to be choppy. That's what a VIX does, is, you know, it measures volatility. So, but I would just, you know, with this pattern here, this could roll up very, very nicely here. Okay, so that's what you always want to look at here. So always just keep the VIX here as a volatility indicator. But, you know, with this kind of a pattern here, and the way we had that volatility, this could spike very, very easily to that 1612 and that 1794. And then once you get above there here, and then we can just follow these candles all the way up here. Okay, so you got 1813, you have 1971, you have 2088, we have 21. 40, and then you can go all the way up to 2308. And don't think that you can't get up there because you're very, very kid. Now, when you look at the weekly, you can see this pattern was completely negative. It's where you have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then you have that same thing all the way on down. But now it looks like you're putting a bottoming pattern kind of a situation in here. So what you want to do here, if you don't, always take a look at those candles, but look at that 50-day, okay? That could go 1506 very, very easily. You could spike right to that 100-day at 1971, 2113, 2308 there. There's your retest going on right on top of that candle. So this has plenty of room to spike. You get any kind of market correction, and this will go higher. Okay, that's what I got for the indexes and a little bit of VIX action. Now, again, I'll be back tonight here before 7 o'clock. And as usual, we'll do the crude oil and natural gas. Thanks for watching.